Greetings and welcome to a somewhat delayed June edition of Getting Around with the Professor. The reason things are a little bit delayed is there have been some major changes going on. There's so much going on. In fact, the organizations that are scheduling things are trying to work around each other, and we're basically still tripping all over each other. But finally, I'm here wearing my new custom 98% shirt with my name, the Professor, on the back. And let's take a look at what is going on. Have to get this out now because, of course, the biggest one of the year, or one of the biggest ones of the year, is going to take place in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Saturday. That is the 5th annual Keystone. And this will be a big one. They're anticipating over 600 entries, which is not surprising and certainly very possible because they had over 500 last year. And last year, there were still some people a little bit nervous about COVID. So I really think that that's entirely doable. Not only the number of entries, but the number of different categories they have. As I say, this is a big one. In the men's category, there's actually 6 men's classes, the novice, amateur, semi-pro, pro, and both masters and grandmasters. Masters in this case being defined as 49 and up, grandmasters as 59 and up. But perhaps that's not the most odd sort of thing. But when was the last time we were to a tournament where they had 4 women's classes, specifically in this case, amateur, novice, pro, and they also have a masters women with over 49 years of age. I'm not sure if this day and age we can make any jokes about asking a woman her age, but in any event, also 4 teens categories, 3 kids categories, and so, as I say, this should be a big one that you don't want to miss. This one will be outdoors, as it was, same place it was the last 2 years. However, the good news is the weather is looking much better than last time, which some of you may recall. It was rather hot, humid, and miserable. And in fact, it was so damn hot that the professor pulled in a sleeveless shirt. And quite frankly, I'm not designed for sleeveless. But in any event, as I record this, which is about 3 days before start time, the prediction for Harrisburg is 77 degrees, only a 1% chance of precipitation, and the dew point of 48, which, if you don't know dew points, anything under 50 is quite comfortable. So it's going to be a lot better than it was, last time around. One thing, the ultraviolet index is counted or scheduled as being 9 out of 10. So you might want to bring a canopy or umbrella or a big floppy hat or something. But in any event, there will, as per usual, be food trucks there. You can bring your own booze if you want, or just, non-booze if you want as well. And also should mention that you can still pre-register for that. Save yourself a couple bucks. I'll have the link to the pre-registration down below, along with the links for or not the link, the list of everything that's going on, because of course I'm only going to talk about those that are happening in about the next month. So as I say, that's this week in Harrisburg. Following weekend on the 25th of June, a little bit different. The New Jersey people, Team New Jersey, are running a seminar practice training session, I guess you could call it, in the sit-down format. In the past, Team New Jersey used to run a sit-down tournament, and they're going to again this year. In fact, this year, the sit-down tournament will be at the same location as the practice, which is Dad's in Lumberton, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia. And that will be on the 24th of September. But in any event, as you may know, I'm going to get some grief from some of the California people here. The beginning of arm wrestling actually was sit down and took place in Scranton, Pennsylvania 40-some years ago. The Petaluma people are going to object and say, wait a minute, we were the start of arm wrestling. No, sorry, Petaluma, that was not arm wrestling, that was wrist wrestling, which is a little bit different. And I say that under no less authority than Snoopy from the Peanuts comic strip. You may recall, those of you who ever look at Peanuts, that Snoopy was always running off to Petaluma to wrist wrestle, and generally ended up kicking ass. But in any event, that will be as I say, in Lumberton, New Jersey on the 25th. The Saturday after that, oh my God, there's nothing the Saturday after that, which is the 2nd of July. Well, it's because it is the Independence Day weekend, And the tournament that weekend in this area will be on the 4th of July, as per usual, which will be in Watsontown, Pennsylvania, where it's been run for some time. That one's a big one, not only for it's a smaller tournament, obviously, than Keystone, but it's a big one for kids, kids, teens, especially kids. In fact, I didn't mention we have both teens and kids classes at the one in Harrisburg as well. But in any event, that will be, as I say, in Watsontown, Pennsylvania. We'll be back in the park. Last year we were in the Watson Inn, but we're going to be back in the park that we were in before. Also, for those of you who might have had too much celebrating the day before, on Sunday the 3rd, this one will let you sleep in a little bit because it doesn't start until afternoon, well into the afternoon, because they have to wait until they get the town's parade out of the way, which is a fairly lengthy parade. So actually, registration for that will not take place until our registration and weigh-ins until 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And the tournament itself will start at 4. But there we do have with that one the amateur, pro, masters, women's classes, and I say both kids and teens at that one as well. So that will be on the 4th of July, and if you stay late enough, you can watch the fireworks at the park. The week after that, there is actually, I don't know of any tournaments in this particular area. There is, however, a rather large picnic / practice / birthday party that Nitro holds every year at Simcoe's Grove, which is a really nice spot alongside a stream in the Wilkes-Barre area, just outside of Pittston, actually. And you say, hey, Schell, why are you mentioning practices and whatever? Well, for one thing, it's my program. For number 2, I'll be there. And for number 3, really is a nice spot. And it's not just going to be a handful of people in, hiding in the woods. It will be probably, we often run 4 or 5 tables, sometimes more than that. Big campfire in the evening. There, as I say, there is a stream there. You can go fishing if you want. Go swimming if you want. Some people actually do go fishing. Generally aren't swimming in the stream, but you certainly are able to, or go off and wander in the woods and whatever you want to do in wandering in the woods. And we won't go into that in too much detail. It really is, in some respects, a way to get away from it all, especially if you're on Verizon, because it just so happens in that little valley next to the stream, Verizon doesn't have a signal. So essentially, I just let people know, hey, I'm going to be incommunicado for the day. And when I finally leave there sometime after dark, my phone starts going nuts as I get about a mile or so away from it for all the stuff that I missed during the day. One other thing that's missing besides Verizon signal, I should say right up front, is missing an outhouse. So like I say, really back to nature on that sort of thing. So hey, you have basically been warned. Week after that, is Saturday the 9th. Right, Nitro's birthday, by the way, is Monday the 11th. I think off the top of my head, he'll be 63, so he's still a number of years behind me. In any event, the week after that, on the 16th of June, we have, or excuse me, 16th of July, we have 2 things. Rather large practice at Dave Marrocco's place. Okay, Schell, another practice. But hey, this is also can be a very big one. In fact, it got so big last year that the neighbors narked on him and reported him to the state of Maryland because there were too many people in the backyard when they should have been hiding from COVID. But you might find just about anybody showing up there. We sometimes have some big names. In fact, Evan Larrett was going to come a couple years ago and actually was on his way. And apparently one of his sons broke his arm, so he had to turn around and go back to that. But we do have let's just say you don't know who might show up. Just on a personal note, Ron Bath was there a couple of years. One of the more recent ones, I think about 2 years ago or so. And I usually leave the big names alone, let the bigger dudes pull them and so forth. But he was standing around talking in a group, and I walked up, and when there was a pause in the conversation, I said, I could, offer you something that probably nobody else can. And he said, what's that? And I said, well, you could get to pull with a 68-year-old novice or 69 or however old I was at the time. And he laughed. Somebody came over and, pulled him away to, go pull with somebody. But about 20 minutes later, he said, hey, wait a minute. He came to me, wait a minute, we haven't pulled yet. that he remembered that and basically just told me what he felt and didn't feel and so forth and so on. But hey, isn't this a great sport? Because where can you basically run into the best the top people in the country and the world, and you can interact with them. So that will, as I say, be taking place at Marrocco's place, which is in Severn, Maryland, just south of Baltimore. The other thing going on on the 16th, somewhat smaller event, but northwestern Pennsylvania have a community festival called the Townville Old Home Days, which has a pulling tournament connected with it. I would imagine most of the folks there are going to be locals, but you will run into some people that probably have not tried it before and want to give it a shot, and so forth and so on. But community carnival sort of thing that basically is great for recruitment, great for getting our name out there, letting people that normally would not come to an arm wrestling tournament, but hey, they show up for the carnival and the cotton candy and the Ferris wheel or whatever they have at the carnival, and they run into us, and great for recruitment. As I say, that's Townville Old Home Days in Townville, ironically enough, Pennsylvania, which is up in the northwest corner of the state, kind of between Titusville and Erie, if you're familiar with either of those. So I think that's about all I'm going to talk about today with events. This is not to suggest there's nothing else going on after that. There are dozens of events, on the better than a dozen events on the list, which is listed below. And indeed, the week after, on the 23rd of July, at one time there were 4 things going on. One of them has been moved just to get out of the way. But there still are 3 events in 3 different states, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, going on the 23rd of July, but I'll talk about that next month. In the meantime, you can take a look at that, and I certainly hope to see you at one or more of these events.